This is advanced drivetrain maintenance for the EMF200. First thing we need to do is remove the drivetrain. So we remove the locking screw at the back. Remove that and put it into the rear hole here. This is just somewhere to keep the locking screw safe while it's not in use. Then just pull the drivetrain out of the back of the EMF200 and we can place the body of that to the side. Inside the drivetrain we have the bolt, the can, the bolt guide, we have the green spool in the centre and the valve body, and then inside here we also have the switch. The greasing of the bolt and the can and the bolt guide can be found in the basic maintenance section, so we don't need to cover that for now. This one is all freshly greased already. But for the advanced maintenance we are now going to remove the bolt guide and the spool and the switch and clean and grease those as well. So if we just grab hold of the red bolt guide and unscrew that. There is a spring in here, so we do want to try and keep this under control. Oh, I see that pops out. And here we have the spool and the bolt guide. We have the spool spring and we have the spool spring guide here as well. I can actually just take these out, place those to one side. Then we have one more part inside here, which is the red piece inside, that is the switch. We can just use the hex key, just carefully slide that out. Just reach in there and slide that part out. It comes all the way out to the front. And now we have all the parts of the drivetrain. And we're just going to go ahead and clean these and re-grease them. So we'll just take the old grease off these components. Wipe all that off. And we want to remove the grease from inside bolt guide, and also inside the very front of the bolt guide there's a small O-ring inside there which seals on the tip of the spool. I'm going to clean that one as well. We'll give that a clean. And then we can clean down inside the valve body housing as well. Just take your microfiber and work that down into the switch pocket at the bottom. Okay, and once we have all of those nicely cleaned up, we can just re-grease them and reassemble them. Take your Eclipse grease and we can do the switch, both the outside and the inside. So we just do the two external O-rings and a little bit of grease on the inside as well. We can then do two seals at the back of the spool. The seal here in the middle doesn't actually need any grease. This is the main valve seal. We don't actually want to grease this. This is a face seal, so it doesn't actually slide inside anything. It just butts up against the surface on the inside of the bolt guide. We do need, before we reassemble, a small amount of grease on the very tip there, and we just need to put some onto the O-ring on the inside there. So we can just put some onto the O-ring and then just work it around with a Q-tip or small hex key just onto that O-ring on the inside of there. And then now start to reassemble this. So I like to insert the spool into the bolt guide, and then take our spool spring and spring guide. We can put those onto the end of the switch. So we have our assembly here. And then we can slide this all in one down inside the valve body and then again just screw the bolt guide onto the valve body until it stops. We don't need to force it on. And then obviously we've already greased the bolt and the bolt guide and the can in the basic maintenance, so we can just reattach the bolt and can. And again, we're just screwing the gold piece and the red piece together until they stop, not forcing them together, literally finger tight, and that's all that's required. You can just put a small amount of grease onto the external O-rings. These are static O-rings, so they don't actually move in operation. This grease is just to help it all assemble back into the main body. We're just wetting those O-rings. Once all that is together, take our EMF200 body and just slide the drivetrain into place. Take out the locking screw from its retaining hole and put it back into locking hole. Screw that back in, and again just screw that down until it stops. Doesn't need to be tightened with a hex key, just screw down until we have metal on metal here. And that is your advanced maintenance for the drivetrain on the EMF200.